Asia Gulf will be the South Asia Gulf will be the biggest migration corridor probably existing in the world. South Asia and Gulf. Now, South Asia includes six countries: India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and we call them Afghanistan sometimes. So major countries are India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. The Gulf countries we are talking about: Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait. If you talk about this migration corridor, this is the biggest corridor in the world. But there are some studies, as Carlos said, we also have migration is a political issue here. Within the country, outside the country, Gulf, even in America, they talk about migration first. All the political parties, left-wing politics in Europe. So everybody talking about migration as an issue. Sometimes they criticize, sometimes they are happy, but migration is a hot topic globally at the political level. So this is also true in India and South Asia. So this is the first point I want to make all of you, because I want to give you a very simple presentation for you, not to complicate you. So South Asia Gulf will be one of the most active corridors in the world. That can be studied by the flights which leaves between India, Bangladesh, Pakistan to Gulf countries. You can study the air routes. If you can study the air routes, you can see that. Second thing is, recently we are also sending a lot of people to Europe, Canada, Australia, and UK. I think this is very important. There is a small change is happening right now. We are slowly moving to other countries beyond Gulf. Very, very interesting lessons to be learned. Because I was in Toronto recently in Canada. They told me that housing crisis in Toronto is because of the student migration from India. See, here we are, the politics there. Housing crisis is a general crisis in Canada, but they are adding fuel, saying that because a lot of students are coming to Toronto, we have housing crisis. Now the government of Canada want to reduce student migration to Canada, and they want to tweak the visa policies. You can imagine that. So it is happening everywhere, migration politics. Now look at here. I want to move that. Okay, yes. Look here, this is a number of immigrants from South Asia, 5 countries globally in the world. I have put the data for you, very clear data. And also you don't need to take down any notes from my things, because the PowerPoint will be shared by Professor Carlos after the meeting. So you can look at it, you can study that. So no need to copy down any number. Just to hear me right now, nothing to worry about things. I just want to give you one point here. 1990 to 2020, we have a trends in migration. South Asian migration in Sub-Saharan Africa, look at the number. It was 0.04 million. It increased to only 0.13 million. Look at Western Asia, Gulf. It was 4.45 million Indians were there. South Asians, not Indians, South Asian. Look at now, 18.83 million people, South Asians, are living in the Gulf countries. And many of the Gulf countries, South Asians are more than the local population. For example, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, and UAE. The total population, if you take it, there are more South Asian than the local nationals in those countries. You can reflect on that. 4.45 million to 18.83. Then the Southern Asia, it has reduced 17.81. Now it has come to 10%. Southeastern Asia, 0.23, it increased to 1.99. Australia, New Zealand, it is increased 0.14 million to 1.16. Lot of people are going to Australia from South Asia. Europe, which is only 2% in 1990, now we are expecting around 9%. This is 2020. But now after the COVID-19, there is an increase in migration to these places. So please imagine that you can see that the global change, which you can see based on this particular data. This is just to tell you how important the changing geography of this particular migration trends from South Asia. I think this is the first point I wanted you to carry with you. South Asia migration is changing, and it is changing towards West Asia, North America, and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Eastern Asia. Only the decline was found in only Central and Southern Asia. I think this is the one point I want to make from this table for all of you. The second point, look at here. In 1995, globally, the highest number of immigrants in the world, there was a database, World Migration Report. You look at that World Migration Report. You can look at the latest World Migration Report 2024. I was part of a chapter on COVID-19 and migration. You can download that also free. You can look at it. It's on COVID-19 impact on migration. In 1995, number 1 was Russia. India is number 2. Bangladesh is number 5. And Pakistan is number 8. First 10 countries, 3 countries belong to South Asia. Globally, this is a ranking from country 1 to all the 200 plus countries in the world. Look at 2020. We are number 1. And Bangladesh is continuing as number 5. And Pakistan improved to number 6. So 3 countries continue to play a major role in South Asia globally on migration. And India has pushed Russia back and emerged as number 1. Now, India is number 1 in terms of the population size now globally. India will continue to be number 1 for next 30, 40 years. No country can overtake India in terms of migration. I think this is very, very important point for you to think, and this is true for Bangladesh and Pakistan. I think probably in another 30 years from now, Sri Lanka and Nepal might join the first 10 countries. You know, some other countries might go. I don't know which country will be out from this list. I have no idea. But now we continue to be playing a major role in these globally. The third point I want to make is that stock of South Asians globally, again, look at that. In 1990, we have only 23.9 million. Decline in 1995, and then never we looked back, including COVID, including global economic crisis. Look at that, 21.5, there was a small decline. That is it. There are 23.4, 25.5 million, 33 million, 36.9 million, and 38.4. So you can imagine that stock of South Asians is on the increase, and it will continue to increase because of the demography. Demography is with South Asia. Demography is with India. Because demography is destiny. I am a trained demographer with economic background. So you can look at it. Demography will decide. And the demography is favorable to South Asia, and it will continue to be favorable for next 30, 40 years. This is another point I want to make. The next point I want to make it, which country South Asians are there? Which are the countries you see lot of South Asians? Look at that. Number 1, Saudi Arabia, which is in the Gulf. Number 2, UAE, which is also in the Gulf. Number 5, Kuwait, it is also in the Gulf. Number 7, Oman, also in the Gulf. That means there are 4 countries in the Gulf is in the first 10 countries. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and Oman. What are the other countries? Indians are there or South Asians are there? United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. These are the English-speaking countries. Very important for all of you to think. Like, you speak Spanish, then you would like to move to a Spanish-speaking countries. If you are a French, you go to Canada, other side, not Toronto side, where you go to the other side because the French speaking. You can look at it because of the English-speaking countries. Indians and South Asians want to go. You can look at it, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. That's between another 4 countries from these English-speaking countries, another 4 countries from the Gulf. So they are the major players in the Indians. Now look at it. I told you migration of Indian students. New trend. New trend means very new trend, and it is expanding like anything after COVID-19. Every country want to reduce student migration, but you cannot do with Indians and South Asians. Look at that. 2015, only 40,000 students are migrating from all the countries. You can look at it. But now you look at people leaving to Canada, leaving to Australia, leaving to UK. All are on the increase. This is a new trend. And it is not a good trend, because when you send labor, you get remittances. When you send students, you are paying the fees for them. So the money is going out of South Asia. The money is going to UK. Money is going to US. Money is going to Australia, because Indian students pay the large sum of fees to those countries so that they will go as a student, they will study there, they will work there, and they will get their permanent residence. So the permanent residence is a dream for South Asians to be as citizens in UK, in Canada, in Australia, in US. So please remember that this is very, very important trend which is coming up. I wanted you people to look at it very, very carefully. This is another South Asian and Indian student migration. Next one. Where are the money coming to South Asia? Where people work, you get money. Look at it. The highest money is coming from UAE to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. There is a lot of money flow. We are talking about the aeroplane moving. That is one side. The aeroplane is moving from India to Dubai. At the same time, from Dubai to India, money is coming, not through airplane. It might be a money transfer agencies. So there's a big market is being developed on migration. We call them migration infrastructure. You look at that very clearly. UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Please look at that. UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain. All the 6 countries in the Gulf are losing money. Money gaining is South Asia. Because when somebody goes to America, he don't want to send money because he want to save money, want to buy a house. That's why you see very less money is coming from United States, UK, Canada, because they want to settle down there. But still they send some money. But the 6 countries are the Gulf and USA, UK, Canada, and Australia. I think very important for you to say where the money is originating to South Asia. Where the money is originating? The money is originating from UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and Bahrain. 6 countries in the Gulf. Then 4 English-speaking countries, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. Another point I want to make you is the money coming to South Asia. The earlier slide was money coming from where? Money coming from UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. This is the another side. Now money coming to India. Other one was money coming, inward remittances South Asia. Look at that. India is number 1. So India receives the number 1 highest money. Look at Sri Lanka. Look at Nepal. Look at Pakistan. Look at Bangladesh, except Afghanistan and Bhutan. You look at India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. The money coming through remittances to these countries is huge. India receives close to 110 billion US dollar. Billion US dollar. Can you imagine? And this money is coming to India, but the money was earned outside. It is not part of the national income. So you can imagine that, the implication of that. Next point, I want to talk about the outward remittances. From where the money is going from abroad. Look at this. 5,000, or you can say 5 billion money is going outside from South Asia for student study. Outward remittances, very, very important, emerging now. Outward remittances, very important point, which is, so money, where it is coming from? One slide. Who gets more money? India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Now, where the money is going out from India is for studies abroad. Because when they are working, they are sending money. When they are studying, money goes from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. After 2 years, the money will start coming back to India because they might have taken a loan in India to do that. Next slide. It is something, it's a concluding slide for you because I don't want to give you more information to talk. Very important is that these migrants also helping for us in crisis. See, we have earthquake in Nepal. Kerala had floods and COVID-19. So please remember, because we have a lot of Indians in Gulf countries, Indians in Canada, Australia, UK, we do receive some money whenever we are in trouble. Trouble in the context of natural calamity and economic crisis. COVID-19, all that COVID-19, they were helping them to bring the people from the Gulf, including providing medicine, food, and also bringing dead bodies during COVID-19. Kerala floods, they were sending us a lot of money. The second point is remittances is significantly contribute to the development and stability of the South Asian societies, offering the safety net and supporting livelihood. So resilience in crisis. That is the first point. Second is impact on development. Impact on development. Very, very important. The third one, changing in remittance system. For example, the Sustainable Development Goal 10C talks about reducing migration cost. Today, if you want to send $100, you are spending $3 to send to another country. I have no idea about how much cost from your countries to other countries to send money, but average they talk about 3%. We should reduce that. This is exploitative transfer methods. Then call for improvement. You might have seen the global compact on migration. You might have heard about things. Very important is that because of the global compact migration, we should talk about recruitment cost, safe, legal, and orderly migration. We don't want undocumented South Asians in any countries. Right now, there are undocumented Indians or South Asians in many countries they talk about. But we are talking about safe, orderly, and legal migration. If it can work, all countries together can develop a policy. It will be interesting for the migration and development literature. I'll stop here and thank you very much. And we will have some question and answer session and some clarification. Thank you, Carlos. And you can share the PowerPoint with everyone. And also they can read my book. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Exactly half an hour, as you said.
Yes, good, good. Almost, yeah.
Bueno, podríamos elaborar algunas preguntas, comentarios. Quien quisiera intervenir, it's up to you. Quien quiera empezar. ¿Alguien quiere hacer algún comentario, pregunta? Por favor, en español o en inglés, como quiera.
Hola, profe. Yo tengo una pregunta.
Sí.
Agradecerle primero al profesor Raham como por todo lo que nos ha enseñado sobre el sudeste asiático. Y yo tengo una pregunta porque he estado leyendo sobre la trayectoria histórica de la región de Somia. Y es que quisiera saber qué conexiones existe entre la resistencia política de las comunidades en Somia y estos movimientos migratorios en la región. Y si para esto hay, bueno, datos estadísticos de estos procesos migratorios desde y para, o sea, en y para la región de Somia.
¿Puede decir dónde es Somia, por favor?
Profe, es como todo el macizo, es una área que toca parte de Nepal, de China. Yo voy a buscar un mapa y se los voy a compartir, pero es
Yeah.
unas llanuras, pues son altiplanicies que están alrededor de estos países y han servido como zonas de refugio para diferentes grupos humanos.
Yeah. Professor Rahan, Daniela is asking if you could elaborate on displacement of people in the Somia region, which is located in Nepal and some areas of China. I must confess, I don't know about that topic, but I'm sure you could say something about that. Thank you.
I think the migrations are different types. I think that's very important, Daniela, to look at it. One is we have labor migration. I call them aspirational migration. Aspirational migration. People want to earn more money, go to a place and live a comfortable life. Now the new trend is student migration. This is another group of migrants. They go there, study, and then work there and getting the permanent residence in America, Canada, Australia. Now they are getting even in Germany, Netherlands. That's the second type of migrants. Third type of migrants, like what is happening now with the Russia and what is called the war zone right now. A lot of people are leaving Russia-Ukraine war. So that is something we talk now about what I call them forced migration. Forced migration. People are forced to leave because of the war. And at the same time, we also now talk about climate migration. Climate refugees, we call them, or climate refugees. You know, like because some areas there is a water, like Bangladesh, there's a heavy rain, or some part of India, then people cannot go and stay there. Or the sea is coming back, like we had tsunami in India, and like similarly, you may have that. So you have that is called the natural calamity. It's called a forced migration due to natural calamities. Another one is forced migration due to war. Both are different. One was man-made forced migration. Another one is natural-made forced migration because of the water things. Second, I think the last one is what we call them development displaced migration. That happens mostly within the country. If you are going to construct a dam, you're going to construct a big hospital or big airport, you need a lot of lands. So they take the land and then you are displaced. They may give you some money, but still it is not enough. You may become poor by giving the land to the government. So it's a displaced migration also we have. Now we have another group of people called refugees. Sri Lanka. We have India have now 6 refugees. I had a book. If you have time, you look at it. There's a book called Handbook of Refugees in India. I have put a handbook on refugees in India, published by Routledge. You can get it, Dale and Francis. You can look at it. We have Sri Lankan refugees. We have Pakistani Hindus. We have Afghanistan. We have people from Burma. We have now Rohingya. So we have several types of refugees. There's also a migration. Refugee policies, you know. Then, of course, we call them terrorism. Like Punjab, they had problem. People came from Punjab to Canada saying that we cannot live in Punjab. They are not treating us well. Pakistani Hindus say, we are not treated well. We want to come to India. See, there is a religious politics, minority politics. So there are several types of migration, but sometimes one will work against other. But these are all, and every migration you can study, which will be a separate topic, separate work. If you talk about refugees, it's a different category altogether. If you study student, it's a different category altogether. I see some questions also in English. Let me see, there is one question on English. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Kerala.
Yeah, my question was, we know that not necessarily the remittances are a direct result of local integration. Can you give us some, how the migrant groups of South Asia coping in the countries abroad? Yeah, very good question. How they are coping in the countries abroad. I think this is a very important question because there are countries have integration policies. I don't think South Asians were not able to integrate. What they are doing right now, South Asians have their own organization in those countries. Like for example, Indian have association in UK. They meet themselves, Hindi speaking, Tamil speaking, Malayalam speaking. For example, in Canada, the third highest language spoken is Punjabi. Punjabi is their language spoken. So you can imagine, so they themselves unite together and they take care of their right. They take care of their voting. You can talk about Kamala Harris, for example. Kamala Harris is an Indian born. Her mother was from Tamil Nadu, my state, where I was born and brought up as a young child. So her mother went from Chennai to study in US. Now the daughter is contesting the election in America. She wins or not, that is a different thing, but she has been identified as a presidential candidate. Winning, losing is another thing. I am part of the competition. You apply for a job, you get or not, you are eligible to attend the interview, you are rejected. That's a different thing. But eligible to contest a election in America as a president, Kamala Harris, this is a diaspora. You see? So depend upon the countries. You have more people in one country, many people who are leaving. That's why you see USA, UK, Canada, Australia, there are more Indians are there. Whereas now I see a lot of Indians going to Germany recently. You see, things are changing. But then I think the integration is the problem will be the language issue. Like somebody want to come to your country, for example, if they speak only English, they may have a problem. So the language is the biggest barrier for international migrant, language. I think somebody can learn Portuguese, somebody can learn French. If somebody learns French in India, he can manage in France. For him, it is France or London is the same. So the language integration is the biggest thing. I think we should look at it. I think very important that they are managing, but they also have a problem. Their rights are violated. In the Gulf, people are, not paid salaries. There are issues with the migration. They are killed sometimes. Migrants commit suicide. For example, recently I was looking at one of the study in Canada. Every week, there is an Indian student is committing suicide. Mental health. You are alone. When you arrive there, at the age of 18, 19, you are alone. You are not able to cope up. Maybe the studies is very difficult. You have exams. You have to write assignment. You are not able to get help. So, I think it's very important. The integration part is very, very important. They are coping it. Some of them fail the coping. That's why you have the suicides coming up among the migrants. With respect to Kerala, how the policies of buying and selling land for foreigners has affected land ownership for communities and to promote migration.
Professor Rahel, by the way, regarding that question, it's interesting that there are some studies that have underlined the relationship and similarities between Kerala and Costa Rica. Because in both cases, living standards higher than the region. Could you reflect a bit on that? Why Kerala has better living standards than other states or provinces in India, please?
No, I think that I am living in Kerala now for quite some time, almost 35 years now. So I think that is called the Kerala model of development. I think it's a very simple model, nothing great. Now I feel very sad about that after looking at the Kerala model. What Kerala did is they were investing money on health and education, nothing more. They educate people, they give them good quality of life. So you are educated, you are healthy. But they cannot offer you job. So people left. Our human development is we are building Dubai city. We are building Dubai. We are getting money. She's exporting the human labor. I think that is the Kerala model of development. You are exporting. That's why some of you look at the Kerala model. It's called the Kerala model in 1970s and 80s. It is called money order economy. Money order means migration within the country. Kerala, it went to Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai. They never moved out and 80s. 80s started Gulf. Now Kerala is called remittance economy. So the model is very simple. You give education, you don't have any employment, people leave. We call them brain drain, but we get money, exchange. We send nurses, we get money. We send engineers, we get money. We send doctors, we get money. But in the process, we lose a lot of human resources. But then still, people talk about Kerala because Kerala is right now is the leading state in terms of international migration in this country. Leading state. Why? No answer, no jobs here. Now there is creating lot of problem in Kerala model. It's like crumbling, like the building crumbles, and falls. Like a big building, 40 floors, something that's a crumbling, the building comes down. Kerala model is almost crumbling now. Why? We have social cost of migration. Social cost of migration is a very important dimension which I am looking at it for quite some time now. That is nothing but migrants leave. They are leaving some people behind them. I call them left behind communities. We have houses headed by women because the husband is migrated to Gulf. In Kerala, 1 million women whose husbands are not there. Big social problem. 2 million children in Kerala growing with only father or only mother or with grandparent. They both of them went to make money or in the boarding school. Children growing up without the parents. And 4 million elderly in Kerala is now living alone because the children are migrated. It's a huge social problem now we are discussing in Kerala. People are not realizing that. Kerala is going to, that's why people say Kerala, some villages is called coast village. Coast village means you go to a small village, there will be 100 houses, 70 houses are locked, 30 houses, there will be only one old lady will be staying there. It is called coast house. Coast villages. There is a big article in the New York Times. You should look at it. Coast villages in Kerala. They are talking about aging population. So I think Kerala is going to have a big problem, social problem in the coming years because of the left behind children, women, children, and elderly.
Thank you. There is also a question in the comments on the kind of jobs that people from South Asia get in the countries of the Gulf. Could you say something about that?
Definitely, I'll say something about that because very important. We divide the job into 3 categories. Low skilled, semi-skilled, and skilled. Low skilled, semi-skilled, and skilled. Sometimes low skilled is called unskilled. Somebody is going to work in a household as a domestic worker. You don't need to have any training, just to go and work. Okay. So in 1980s and 90s, we used to have 60% will be low skilled. 30% will be semi-skilled. 10% is skilled. This is 30 years back. 60, 30, 10. Now it is changed. 60 has become 40. Semi-skilled become 20. And high-skilled become 40. Now high-skilled migration is picking up in all the South Asian countries. Not just South Asia, even Southeast Asia like Philippines. So high-skilled migrants are now occupying major positions in Gulf. For example, in America, Indians are the highest earning community in America, more than Americans. They are the highest earning community in America. Unskilled cannot earn. Average income earned by the Indo-American is higher than the Americans. Afro-American will be maybe the lowest level, but Indo-Americans are very, very high earning capacity. So that indicate the structure of the skills are changing. You might heard about the 2000, there is a global crisis. After 2000, what the computer will say? 2001, or it will say computer will collapse. 2K issue. And Indians were part of to solve the problem in America. 2K, 2000. Like every day your year is increasing. After 2000, computer will say what? 2001, say 2001, the computer is gone. Your all system is gone. So they were working on that. 2000K problem, 2K problem, people used to tell. I'm hearing some hand from Sarah from England. Yes, Sarah?
Yep.
You are
Yes.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. This is very interesting. So given what you were just saying about Indians in the United States, tend to have the reputation of coming as students or maybe with HB1 visas because of their high levels of education and skill. Because there's been a lot of immigration from India for a long time to the United States, there's also family reunification. So when people talk about the immigration problem in the United States, they tend to be talking about undocumented migrants, and the focus tends to be on people from Latin America, although that's changing a little bit. But one of the interesting things is that in the last couple years, we've been seeing more and more people from India, Afghanistan, and Nepal arriving to the US southern border. And these are people flying in, I think, to places like Ecuador and going through the Darien Gap and doing that whole trip similarly to many, what used to be mainly people from Colombia, Venezuela, Haiti. So why is that? That's something that is very perplexing to me. Why are people from South Asia, especially India, why are they coming through that route? And especially since that actually costs a lot of money. It's not cheap to do that trip all the way from India. Can you explain a little bit about that?
I think you are. I think now we are talking about undocumented Indians in US, because I am, some of you who are interested to know more about India. I bring out a book called India Migration Report. India Migration Report, which comes out every year. It started in 2010. So every year it will come out, 2010, 11, 12, 13. And the last issue was Indian in Canada. Every report, there will be a special theme, Indians in Canada. That was the last theme, and it is open access. The full book is open access. In 2023 was student migration. That was the focus. There is also full open access. Some books you may have to buy. Next year, I am doing on Indians in America. And somebody writing a paper for me on undocumented Indians in America. I think I would like to see is that now undocumented Indians are coming in, or undocumented South Asians are coming in. It is partly because of the visa restrictions. So I would like to blame those developed countries. I think there is a visa restriction. For example, I know people come as a student, they overstay. People come as a student, they overstay. Now, the problem is they want to extend their stay. The policy says after 1 year, you have to go back. They spend a lot of money to your country. So what is happening is that Because I will always say that undocumented migration is something to do with a visa regulation. Visa regulation. I think we should study about visas in those countries. What type of visa? Because when I used to go to US for almost now 25 years, I'm going. They always talk about Mexicans. So now I think they don't talk about Mexicans anyway. But now they talk about Indians. That's good. But the point is very simple, because I will tell you, because I have looked at the undocumented migrants in the Gulf. I always tell the Gulf countries, look here, nobody comes to your country as undocumented. They don't go through anyway. They fly to UK, Gulf on visit visa. Visit visa was given by the Gulf countries. And the 3 months they will stay, then they will go underground. Because I call them, there is a pseudo labor market. There is a parallel labor market for undocumented migrants in Italy, in America, in UK, because you can pay them less. So there is a parallel labor market. We don't study that. I was telling them, it's a very parallel labor market. It's like, I call them, it's like a labor mafia. You might heard about land mafia. It's a labor mafia. Mafia is, like, you can transport somebody, you get 1 crore. Somebody can move, you can move one family from somewhere to UK, US, through all the illegal route, take them up and down, night walk, everything. And they reach US, then they will give you 1 crore. So it's a big mafia. It's a big money involved. So there is a parallel labor market existing in UK, in US. There is no labor market parallel. If there is no job available for undocumented migrant, nobody will be undocumented. See, there is a call to, America knows about undocumentation. Saudi Arabia knows because of your policies, because they want undocumented migrants, because then only the business people can survive. For example, in Punjab, in Italy, there's a lot of undocumented Indians in industries, local industries. Yeah, they're all paid, 40% less, 50. And in fact, that some of the employer who employ them, the Italians, they will tell, if you ask more money, we will inform you to the police. Because you are undocumented, they know that. So I think that is a collusion between the government and the capital people in other countries. For example, now we talk about, say, Donald Trump. He has a lot of businesses. How many of them may be undocumented he is employing? We don't know. Am I right? We don't know. See, when you talk about big business, you have 20 people will be documented, 3 people will be undocumented. You can imagine everywhere 3, 3, 3, 3, you will add up a big number. Am I right? So I think it is I will always blame them something to do with the visas. If I want to come and freely to come to America, and I will try my job. If I don't get, I will come back. So America should allow me to come a visa, which I will say that I am coming to search for a job. 3 months, I'll search for a job. If I don't get, I'll go back. 3 months, you follow the man. Okay, you got a job. You get a visa, you stay there. You don't get a visa, you'll go back. That means if he is able to get a job, undocumented, he will stay there. That means there are people ready to employ those undocumented workers for the welfare of the society. Undocumented migrants might be contributing for the income in those countries. But we are not looking at it. We are blaming them. But I think we should blame the destination countries like America, UK. I always blame them. If you allow me to be, like, I want to apply, I want to come to your country. You give me a visa. If I don't get a job, I will come back. If I am able to get a job, then you don't give me a visa for extension, then I will go underground. So it is something we should look at the visa policies of all those countries. Yeah. I would say that.
I would like to add another question, which is regarding to the transaction cost associated with remittances. Do you know any initiative in South Asia in terms of reducing the cost of remittances, which is a highly point also here in Latin America?
No, I think there are some policies coming up because the government opening the money, because it's between private and public. If suppose you have the Western Union is a private Western Union. They want to, they will ask you every $100, they'll ask you $5. Suppose you have a bank, from your country is opening a branch in other country, then the money will be less. So that, government has to play a major role. It is part of the remittance management. Remittance management, how the money, the hard-earned money from the other countries, when it is coming, it is 5% less because of the remittance cost. I think they are doing something, but I am not sure that still we have satisfied the actual, still people are paying more money. Because there is a big business between that, the exchange. Say, for example, dollar to India, US dollar. Somebody wanted to send US dollar. For example, tomorrow, you tell me, Carlos, for example, I'm running a foundation to support your old people in my village. So you tell me, I want to give you $100. You want to send to my account, there will be a lot of queries. Why you are sending, why $100 you are sending? Then the bank will ask me, Rajan, why you are getting $100 from Carlos? Who is he? Otherwise, you have to tell me that I'm giving $100 because he has taken a class. Like when I go to World Bank or somewhere, they'll say, he has talked to us, we are paying him $300 for his fee, for his talk. You should give me a letter, then you should give me. Otherwise, there will be a lot of questions. There is a, but then I can get the $100 through different way. You do some manipulation. But the university you want to do, you can't do. But privately, you can manipulate. What happens? You will send $100, but actually, I'll be getting only $95. See, because, that is again the problem what I told to Sarah. There is an underground market. There are sellers and buyers of the currencies. There is a big market there. That's why you see every day why the fluctuation is the currency and other thing. So there is an underground market on the currency, like the labor mafia is another mafia. They are making money. Somebody sitting, he's sitting in a place. He's making money by just exchange of the money. The airport. He's not doing anything. You give $100, he'll give you 500 rupees. I say, I want $1, he'll take me 600 and give me $100. You see, one will be the departure airport. You buy $1, other side will be people who came back, they want to give the $1 and get the Indian rupees, you see. And there will be variation. You may be buying $100 for 5,000 rupees, but when you really want to sell $100, they'll give you only 4,000 rupees. See, there is a big market is there. I think this is also true not only with the remittance cost, it's also with the recruitment cost. See, today, for example, in Bangladesh, a person spends $1,000 to go to Gulf. And he takes 6 months or 8 months to make that money, the recruitment cost. Then only he will get money for himself. I think this is part of the sustainable development goals, global compact and migration. We are working on that. It's there is a group of people. That's why I call the mafia. You see, it's very difficult to change mafias. Because there's a big money involved. See, if I am sending a worker, I'm legally sending a worker. I'm charging him, say, I'm supposed to charge only $100. I'm charging $200. My profit is $100. If I'm sending 10 people to Gulf, I'm making $1,000. You imagine how much money I will be making. This is a big, it's also politically also there. Because these recruitment agencies will give government some money when the election is coming. Election funding, it may be happening in your own country. When the election is coming, the candidates will ask money. Please support me for the advertisement and talk and everything. Who gives money? Who made this money? Because otherwise, when the government comes, they will be in trouble. So there is a big collusion of all. That's why I said migration is politics now. So we have to work with unless there is a mindset of the politicians in those countries, we may not be able to change much, but it will continue to, but migration will continue. Undocumentation will continue unless somebody try to revise their policy. For example, I was telling to, in Europe, one country, I told them, you are getting visa. For example, if I want to go to Germany, I have to apply for a visa. But like me, another professor want to come from Germany to India, he can get a visa on arrival in India. I said, why you are not giving me? I am asking the German embassy, why you are not giving me? They said, if you come, you may not go. See, what is that you are thinking? Visa on arrival. Visa on arrival is not there in many countries, even for your country. If you want to arrive how many countries your passport will take you their visa on arrival. Not many countries will not allow you. You have to apply for a visa. You have to go with a visa when you leave the country. I think it's all. I think visa policies, remittances policies, labor policies. I think we need to think more and work on that. Thank you. Thank you. We are ready for dinner. You are ready for breakfast. I'm ready for dinner.
Yeah, well, thanks
it's a long day.
I was thinking that a furthest task for us is to explore the possibility of putting in comparison the migration corridors in South Asia and in Latin America. We are far away from each other, but at the same time, we are quite close in terms of the migration dynamics in both regions, and perhaps at some point in the future we could try to engage in some kind of comparison on both sides. But meanwhile, again, a very big thanks. Muchas gracias, and have a good meal and evening.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining, and whoever can understand English, thank you very much. Otherwise, I'm sorry I can't help you, and all the best for your studies. Keep in touch, and I can send you my email address. I can type it. So anybody would like to connect with me, you can always collect. You can also invite me for any seminar. I can come to your country. I came to that country sometime back. I don't know when I came. So any meeting coming up, professor has some money, you can invite me. I will try to get the visa. Hopefully I'll get a visa to come to your country. And we can, we will see how things move, and all the best for all of you. Thank you, Carlos, for invitation again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.